I know that we're all here to learn, and I hope that in addition to finding some ideas to steal, you will find a community here of people who can have ideas for you to steal maybe in the future, but also to provide advice and just to have a conversation. And we hope the conversation continues beyond today. I'm so pleased to be able to introduce Dean Francis Coleman. This product today is a culmination of a dream, really. And Dean Francis Coleman was the person who embraced and enjoyed and was so excited about that dream from the very beginning. So I'm very excited to have Dean Coleman and welcome you now.
Thank you, Amanda. Certainly I want to add to Amanda's greetings that we welcome all of you here. We're very pleased always to have individuals to come to our library and to be with us and to work with us. As Dean of the Library, I'm most fortunate to have a wonderful faculty and staff and an energetic faculty and staff and staff members who are like Amanda, who have vision and who really keep us on track. I just kind of hold on as a dean, and it's like the rope. You've seen the man in the TV that has a long rope and he's floating around. Well, I'm that little person on the end of the rope because my faculty and staff are going that way, and I'm holding on. But I do enjoy it, and they're very good, and I'm very proud of them. We are glad to have you here today. All of you are very special to us, and I want to thank the committee for all of the work that they have done. Amanda keeps saying that she's very nervous, but I thought she did very well, didn't you? I do want to recognize someone who is very special to all of the libraries throughout the Southeast, and if you have not had an opportunity to meet that person, I'm sure that you have probably seen her name, and she's probably going to kill me for this, but I would like for us to welcome Kate Nedley. She's the Executive Director of the Southeastern Library Network. Kate, would you please come? Kate's done so much for libraries all over, all types, and we just appreciate it and enjoy working with her. There are two other individuals here, too, that I would like to recognize. And Amanda would probably kill me, but as dean, you can do whatever. They can get you later. But I would like for Amanda's parents to please stand. They are here today. They are both associated with the library world, and so we appreciate their being here today to give Amanda support for their participation and also for giving you support as well. It's my pleasure this morning to introduce someone who is a very capable individual. Dr. Kurt Schultz is Vice President for Research and Economic Development. Dr. Schultz came to us in the engineering department and then became Dean of Engineering and is now in his current position as Vice President for Research and Economic Development. And this is someone who has energy. He's most capable. He has a long resume of many accomplishments, many honors. But in just the short period of time that he has been in his position as Vice President, he has really assisted our new president, Dr. Vogelsong, in moving our university forward. And Kurt, we certainly believe that and appreciate that so much. I could read you the long list. I did review it, but there's one thing I want you to always remember when you see his name. He understands libraries, he knows what they can do, and he is in our corner. So please help me in welcoming Dr. Kurt Schultz.
On behalf of Mississippi State University, let me welcome you today to what looks like a very exciting program. This is an exciting day for MSU. For those of you who might be college baseball fans, we open up tonight playing. We're going to whip up on University of North Carolina this evening at 6 o'clock. So if any of you are in town, if you happen to go by one of our local watering holes, expect to see a lot of students and faculty around watching the baseball game. So very exciting time. The other thing that I will sort of semi-apologize for, if you try to drive around campus, you you find I need a map. I have a navigation system in my car, and that still gets me lost. We are doing a tremendous amount of construction right now in Mississippi State. We're redoing a lot of our roads. We have a new business school building that's due to open up. We have a new agricultural and biological engineering building that's due to open up. The student union will be freshly renovated and opened up. And they say all this stuff will be ready by the time fall semester hits. And we're not really worried about when the students come back. We're worried about that first home football game when we get 50,000 people all trying to find their way around Starkville. Well, I think the topic that you all are going to address today is very, very timely. And let me share with you just a story or two that I think illustrates this particular thing. I have two sons that are both here in Starkville. One's 16 and one's 12. And a few years ago, they were playing soccer here in a soccer camp. And it turns out one of the things they did is divide them into countries. And it turns out, for whatever reason, my son was on what was supposed to be the Ethiopian soccer team. And so what they had to do in the evening was they had to get a picture of the Ethiopian flag and put it on a t-shirt and show up the next day for their soccer camp wearing this particular thing. So they come home, and for my generation, the first thing that you would do was you go find an atlas, you open it up and look it up, and you get the flag. And so I'm in there, pulling his book off the shelf, and what is the first thing my son does? He goes, looks on the computer, goes to the internet, and he finds it that particular way. Well, he's 16 now, and so instead of things like verbal communication, we text message back and forth. Facebook, these different sort of things. I think the point is that this generation of students and the people that we are trying to serve with finding information, conveying information, communicates in a much different way than we did a generation ago. And I think a lot of the topics that you're talking about today are really trying to address this particular thing, is how do you work with the current and new sorts of communication styles of the new constituents and new students that show up on our campuses, the newer, younger faculty that show up on our campuses. We're going to be starting a weblog and officer research this next semester. It's a new thing for me, but I think we'll find a lot of people are interested in that sort of communication avenue. So today I urge you to talk to the folks giving the presentations, ask lots of questions, dialogue quite a bit, and the fact that you're here says that you're really interested in making sure that you're communicating effectively with that next generation of library users. So folks, have a great day today. It's a wonderful facility. It's a great campus. I really hope that you enjoy everything about Mississippi State. Get that cowbell, bring it tonight at 6 o'clock. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Schultz. He's actually my friend on Facebook, very progressive. If you have a computer and want to get online, our password is eagerly today. So all you have to do is open up your browser and type in that password. You should be online at MSU with all of our resources here on campus. Michael Stevens is our speaker now, and I am going to kill the theme later, just in case you're wondering about that. Anyway, Michael Stevens is our speaker here. I don't know if you noticed in your program there is a full-page bio, and we're running a little bit behind. It's a beautiful picture. Please take a look at all of the things that he's done. Just to give you a little bit of my own perspective on my experience with Michael Stevens, it was a year ago, almost to the date, that he came to NASIG and spoke, and that was really the beginning of my own revolution, something like that, in learning about Library 2.0. The weekend after the Friday he spoke, I was signed up for Flickr and MySpace and Facebook and Delicious and almost any kind of 2.0 tool I could find, because I was so excited and energized and ready to go. And then on Monday morning, I emailed Deborah Lee, the head of our instruction services, and Patty Archer, who's in the back, and both of them are on all of our committees for Library 2.0, and said, how can we do staff training? This is so exciting, we have to get started on it. And of course, immediately the dean was ready to go and the summit started being planned. So Michael Stevens was really the person that began all of this for us, and we are so pleased to have him back here. And Michael, if you want to come on down and get started, I know you have a lot to do. Let's just go through the Johnny Appleseed.
Good morning. Let me put this on. so I don't trip and fall. Just to get, because I move around a lot and this scares me. Thank you. Thank you very much. Not that I haven't fallen in front of large groups of people before, because I have. Oh, no, that's fine. No, I'll lean against it. It's okay. It seems loud. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. All right. How y'all doing? Great. Good morning. I'm really, really happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me back to Mississippi. Let's dive in. I'm going to watch the clock. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, okay? Here's the title of the talk. I'll go like this. And I will say the world shifted. And we heard a little bit of that in the introductions. That the young fellows go to the internet to find the picture of the flag. In the last few years, the world has shifted yet again. Do you remember when the internet came into your library? 95, maybe 96, and all those changes that came? There's a new set of changes. The dot-com bubble burst, and the web sort of rebooted itself. Let me have a little bit of my McAllister's tea. This is the best. And whoever made this magically appear, wow, thank you. I appreciate it. So the world has changed. I tell my students at Dominican to be trend spotters. I think as librarians we need to be trend spotters. And one of the things that I tell them is if a trend, a technology, or whatever makes the cover of a major news weekly, it means something. April of 2006, putting the "we" in web on the cover of Newsweek. User-generated sites are rocking the internet. December 2006, Time Magazine. Who knew? Who's the person of the year? Yeah, all of us. And look at the tagline. It says, yes, you. You control the information age. Welcome to your world. You know what it doesn't say? The libraries control the information age. Librarians control the information. No. It says you do. The people, everybody. Fascinating. Wikinomics came out around the same time. Tapscott and Williams say mass collaboration on an online scale is changing the way we work. So here's some Web 2.0 stuff, and this is from Tim O'Reilly. The web is platform, harnessing the connective intelligence, rich user experiences. Those are the two that I like to pull out when I talk about Web 2.0. Here's some Web 2.0 stuff. It's also known as the read-write web, the participatory web, the social web, blogs, RSS, wikis. I know some of you here at MSU have done some of the training. Tagging, folksonomies, etc. Why is tagging in yellow? We decided we need an official tag for the event. If you are photographing anything and uploading it to Flickr, please tag it this way. If you are blogging, who's live blogging? Yay, yay, oh, yay, okay, good. Use this tag if you can. This will be interesting to see how much stuff we can get tagged. MSU L2 Summit. Okay, mashups and remixes. My favorite part is this idea of find others like you. That's that idea of making connections with other people, of sharing likes and interests, and making somebody your friend. I actually friended a couple of folks last night on Facebook that I met yesterday, that now have a Facebook presence. And we can have a talk about what that means, making friends and what that means, but it's a way to make connection. This is my Flickr page. If you were so inclined, you could subscribe to a ceaseless, forgive me, it's ceaseless, stream of all of my photos. That I took a picture of our lunch yesterday at that incredible Mediterranean restaurant and put it up in Flickr. You can pull my photos in and see where I'm at and what I'm doing. That's the way, I think the number one way that I choose to share myself socially online. You can also, if you were inclined, subscribe to a feed of all the songs I play on my Macintosh in iTunes. So you know in the middle of the night in a hotel room in whatever city I find myself, I'm playing the same sad songs over and over again. I left Gold Dust Woman on repeat last night when we went to dinner. So it's like way up in my playlist now. You can also make content. This is the street sign generator. We're standing right now at the corner of Library and Glue Train. And the alphabet soup generator. You can make that say anything. You can make it say happy birthday if you want, or you can make it say the user is not broken. And this is my Library 2.0 warning sign from the warning sign generator. Failure to innovate while overthinking and underplanning library services may cause a loss of library users and library staff. I'm serious. If your library seems slow to catch on, there was this little meme that went around the blogosphere last summer, how to lose your techie people. Talking about endless, deathly meetings, proposals that sit on desks for months waiting to be approved, while the librarians are like, let's do something, let's move, let's move. You know, that's how you lose your good staff. I don't want that to happen. So this is where we live. This is where some of us play out part of our lives. Now, I'm not talking about the person that gets on the internet and stays there for 20 hours a day and never leaves the house with the shades drawn. I'm talking about... not like that, but make of that what you will. I'm talking about the folks that have found a way to extend their lives a bit online. Here's some of the commonalities of the 2.0 tools. They are open, participatory, tagging again, leaving comments, RSS feeds, and that techiest thing I'm going to say today, getting access and using the application program interface to do stuff like mash up Google Maps. Don't worry about that part, but if you have a coder on your staff or you have kind of a geeked out librarian, say, tell me about that API thing after today, and they'll tell you. So here's Web 2.0, and from that we have the offspring of Web 2.0, and real quick, Law 2.0, Media 2.0, these discussions, whoops, yeah, I am going to fall. These discussions are happening all over, not just in libraries. Church 2.0, anybody been to a Church 2.0? They're blogging maybe? The sermon is podcasted, like right after it's delivered. And Library 2.0. Casey and Savistanic defined Library 2.0, finally, they had their article published in Library Journal, as a model library service that encourages constant and purposeful change and inviting user participation and consistent evaluation of services. Wonderful definition. I wrote an article called Into a New World of Librarianship, where I talked about some of the traits of Library 2.0. One of those things is that librarian has read the OCLC Perceptions of Libraries and Information Resources report. Who's read it? Oh, good. Okay. Yay. All right. It's telling. 96% of the 3,000 people all over the world they talk to have been in a library at least once. 51% of those folks have used instant messaging. 30% of them have no idea what online databases or electronic resources are. Where do we spend our money? In my public library job, I managed a budget of $125,000 a year for said electronic databases. That really scares me. That part of our population possibly could not have an idea of what this stuff is and not be using it. Now let me address the academic librarians in the room. OCLC distilled out the academic, like the age group, and published under separate cover. I would urge you to take a look at that, because once you get college students on campus, and once they know where the library is, they are much more likely to use the resources, which really made me happy. But be aware that some folks aren't there. Reasons for never using the library website. Didn't know it was there. Other sites had better information, and I just can't find it. They asked folks, what do you think of when I say the word library? 69% said books. 13%, the darker lines are our college students, said the building. Look at this. 6% said research, 3% said materials. Books is the library brand. That's what OCLC found. Very interesting. And the library is so much more than that. Perceptions of libraries can be kind of scary. We want to make sure that our users know we're there for them. How many public librarians are here? A few folks. Okay, hold on to your hats for just a second. Don't get too scared, but look at this. This is Jackson County Public Library in Oregon, Medford, Oregon. They don't have any money. They close. And this is what they put on their website. That gives me the chills just thinking about it. That really upsets me. Wow. Use of information, resources. Folks are finding their way online. The top 20 educational and reference websites for March 17th, 2007, Wikipedia was #1. Wow. Yahoo Answers. Great place to go for answers, right? You know what this says to me? This says I lost my teeth. We need to find a way to get into Wikipedia. Does your library have a Wikipedia page? Does your university or town or other governing body, wherever your library falls under, does it have a Wikipedia page that you can link to the library off of it? Have you edited a page of Wikipedia? Good for you. We all should have that experience, and we all should be right there in the thick of it, so we can play a role in creating this information resource. There's Google Scholar, Answers, etc. So in light of all of these perceptions, and libraries closing, and the idea that Wikipedia is often visited for educational pursuits, how do we move toward a Library 2.0 philosophy of service? Library 2.0, to me, is very much the hyperlinked library. How many of you have read the Clue Train Manifesto? Interesting. All right. Can I sign readings? Okay. I'm assigning it. It's online. You don't have to buy the book. The Clue Train, published in '99, one of the best business books in 2000, Levine, Block, Searles, and Weinberger, talks about how the internet is changing business. It applies. It really applies to us. In the Clue Train, there's a chapter called the Hyperlinked Organization. Dave Weinberger says the web is hyperlinked, it's decentralized, it's open, it's full of data, and it's broken. The web is broken. He says the hyperlinked organization is team-based, is decentralized, communicates with speedy, effective meetings and hyperlinked intranets and open human conversations, which we'll talk about. And guess what? It's a little bit broken. I think the hyperlinked library can be a little bit broken. And that means that it's okay to try some things. To turn on your Flickr or your blog or whatever and try it out. Don't get bogged down in a year of preparation. Turn it on and try it out. And we're going to talk about the culture of experience and play toward the end. Okay, it's taken me 10 minutes to get to my slide where I say, here's what I'm going to talk about. Here's what I'm going to talk about. The Hyperlinked Library does all of these things. So let's run through these. Number one, the Hyperlinked Library, I better not say, because I'll never be able to count all those off. The Hyperlinked Library breaks down barriers. Folks said to OCLC, don't be so uptight about kids hanging out in the library. When OCLC said, what would you tell libraries to do better? Train the staff to be friendlier. Let's break down barriers. Here's the warning sign again. Okay, let's talk a little bit about this. As I move through my world with my device, my cell phone, that also checks my email, surfs the web, accepts text messages, does all of those things, if I walk up to this library, I can't use my phone inside. Because it's more than just a phone. I've used it in the entryway only. Look at this. Got to turn it off. I have to shut down my connection to the world. And look, I'm a violator if I'm in this library. This is what we say to our users on our front door. If you make it inside, this is a reference desk photo. Absolutely, no cell phones in here drinking. Can you see that? See that those little words right there? I don't know if you read that in the back. It says thank you. It's that big. Amazing. Conversations are not allowed in the library. Okay, now I'm not talking about standing in the library and screaming. Ah! We wouldn't do that, right? And we probably wouldn't let anybody do that. That's code of conduct. That's behavior. It's not technology. It's not looking at a technology and saying we can't have that in the library. This is Meebo.com. This is a screenshot from a library that filters all access to anything having to do with instant messaging. So those 51% of folks from OCLC's study couldn't come into this library and instant message on Meebo, which is a web-based IM client. Blocked. Do not bring your PSPs or other handheld games into the library. If you're playing them, we're going to ask you to leave. Let me address the public librarians for 2 seconds. You know, if we want the 12-year-old boys to use the library, this might not be the best thing to put on the door because they might not want to come in. And then, think about our college students. They're gamers as well. Some of them, many of them. They might want to carry their game around. I just got a Nintendo DS and I love it. And I defend my dissertation on Tuesday. And what a great way to take a break from like freaking out. To come here, which is a great way to take a break, but also to play Tetris for like 20 minutes. So shouldn't I be able to play Tetris in the library for 20 minutes to like clear my brain? Okay, blank slide. Clear your palettes for a second. Here's a good sign. Gamers are welcome. This is my favorite. These are the rules for the library loft at Charlotte-Mecklenburg Library. This is for the teen space. Respect yourself, respect others, respect the space. To me, this is all it takes. We could put this sign up here in this library. I use it in my classroom. A lady in my class said, I'm putting it up at home. Instead of this language of no this, violate, or that, how about let's respect each other? Let's play nice. All right. Next point, have conversations. Be transparent. Transparency is that idea of open communication, of talking, of being honest. Tell me how you're spending my money. Tell me how you're spending my money as a student or as a public library user. Tell me what your plans are for the library and actively engage with me. And ask me what I think. Be open and honest and speak in a human voice. And this is clue train stuff. Speak in a human voice and let people know what you're saying and say it honestly. People want to talk to each other. And Web 2.0, we found a way to make it really, really easy to talk to each other. Here's the clue train again. The clue train says, to speak with a human voice, companies must share the concerns of their communities. Same can be said for libraries. The social tools of Web 2.0 allow conversations. Here's the SJCPL blog. This is my former employer, my public library of 15 years. 30 librarians trained to blog about the library, materials, programs, just about anything. Type, 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 click publish, up it goes. They're sharing their voices with our library users. I'm happy to come from this library so I can talk about it here. Ann Arbor District Library, another public library example. 7 blogs all feeding into a top-level website. Open conversation. Their director is blogging. I don't know who's in the room and who's not. If you're a library director or a manager or a top-level administrator, you might want to think about this because it's a way to be open, to be human, to be transparent, and to let people enter into conversation with you. My clicker sort of works. Okay, from back here. There was another Ann Arbor shot. Here's a book club blog. Another example of taking library services online. If you do one campus, one book, or one city, one book, have a book club blog. The State Librarian of Kansas is blogging her travels. And I love this. She used the Dumbledore generator to make a picture of Dumbledore saying, well, we've never done it that way before. I appreciate that. And finally, here's Plymouth State University's online catalog. You know what it is? It's a blog. It's cataloged as blog. This is Casey Beeson creating something called the WP OPAC, and now it's called Scriblio. He said, I don't like the web catalog that my provider gives me, my ILS vendor, Innovative, gives him. So he made some. He used open source software application WordPress for blogging and created his own. The catalog as blog, you know what you get? You get comments from users on the materials. They can tag things so they can find them later. Help us with our cataloging. Pulls in the classic library cataloging here, but also allows for user tagging, and it creates a static URL for every item in the catalog. When Google Local turns on its search for everywhere, you want your results to be found. And if somebody searches for a book, they may find it. Another thing we can do if we're having conversations is we can tell stories. This is Gwinnett County Public Library's Flickr page. This is their Rock the Shelves night. They had 5 rock bands in the public library. They put their photos out on Flickr for the people that attended and others to see what it was like, to comment, to tag, to favorite those pictures, to link to them, to build conversations, and to tell a story of what happened here that evening. And a picture is worth a million words. I love Flickr. Here's another library. This is Gail Gordon Memorial Library, Storypalooza. Use YouTube, right? YouTube? Yeah. And tell us all your stories about the library you're reading. Remember that user-generated sites are rocking the internet, cover of Newsweek. Let's ask our users to help us promote the library. Make a video about the library. Make a video about how you use the library. And share it with us on YouTube. Have you seen the dominoes video in the library with the books or dominoes? I think people got in trouble for that. Ohio University Libraries has a podcast tour of the library. They have 2. One narrated by a librarian and one narrated by a student. Fascinating. Involve and engage your users. Look for ways to involve them in everything you're doing and engage them. One of the folks at OCLC's survey said, give me a service where I can have materials delivered to me at home. And I promise I'll bring them back. What does that make you think of? Oh, you guys are good. Netflix. Have you seen BookSwim? Netflix for books? This isn't a library. This is a service. They're letting you subscribe like Netflix, and they're going to send you books in the mail. If you have Netflix, is it fun or what to play with your queue? How many of you have Netflix here in the room? Yeah, people smile when you say Netflix. It's an experience, right? It kind of makes you happy to mess with it. And to see that, oh, you get that email, something just mailed out, yay! Yay, whatever the new big movie is. Karen Schneider said the user is not broken. Wonderful blog post from last year. The user is not broken. The user is the sun. So we should look for ways to plan with the user, around the user, with the user in the center. She said, your systems are broken until proven otherwise. Wow. Plan for your users. Pull them in there. Put them in the middle. Ask them what they want and don't tell them what they need. We're no longer in a position to tell people what they need. And listen. Listen to what your users are saying across the desk. And, oops. See, I gotta look and make sure it's, that listen should have come up. Let's try that again. And listen. Listen to your users across the desk. And listen to the people on the front line that meet your users, because guess what? They're hearing the true story of the library. I'm sorry? Oh, I got an amen. It's the truth. And I'm coming back here for a second and involve them in planning. And let them plan with you. If you're convening a committee to do X, Y, or Z, get people representative of all the levels of the library in and let them talk about this stuff. Here is the SJCPL Wiki, an example of subject guides built with Wiki software. This is the same software that Wikipedia runs on. Here is the Ohio University Library's Business Wiki, created by a librarian named Chad. There he is. He's the business librarian. So he's putting up all of his stuff, all of his resources, and inviting the students and the faculty to contribute. He also has embedded an IM window right there. We'll talk about that in a second. Look for ways to engage your users. This is my Facebook page. There's Jake and there's Charlie. My dogs now have a dog book page. But here's what I want you really to see. Look at this. This is Hennepin County. This is the wall back here. I thought it was the wall. I was being really careful. I thought it was like some beautiful floating screen. But okay. You guys doing okay? Okay, this is Hennepin County search box built as a Facebook application. Here is the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign library search box. Look at this. Search for books and articles right there. If I was a student here, or if I use this library, I can embed these in my Facebook page, and the library is in my world. Okay? This is a Facebook application. So I'll charge you all to think about this and email me when you develop one. This is Hennepin again. This is their online catalog. They hacked it to enable user reviews of books. Amazon has done this for over 10 years. And finally, we're getting into the game, and we should be, because our users might want to talk about books in the library catalog. Here's Marley and me, folks talking about reading this book and about their own dogs that have touched their lives. Excellent, excellent. And Hennepin took it a step farther. Hennepin is one of these libraries that is just out there. They're one of the ones to watch. One of the trend spotting questions is look at the folks at the very bleeding edge of your market and see what they're doing. And this is a library to watch. They created a reading community called bookspace.org, where you can get an account and you can share comments on books you're reading, you can create book lists of what you're reading, and you can have author alerts and engage in conversation with other users. I like this. They branded it bookspace.org. It's not hennepin.lib.us/book/reading/online community/reading is fun/reading.html. It's bookspace.org. We can market like this. We can brand stuff like this. Have you seen the OK Go video? YouTube? Applause in the back of the room, too. Find a way to put your library-related videos on YouTube. If you're doing anything with video, you might want to think about it. Here's Ray of Light, St. Joe County Public Library's Staff Day video. We shared it. There's a conversation going on here about the video, including someone that says, it makes me want to come work for your library system. That's good marketing. That is very good marketing. If I'm a new librarian, I'm newly graduated, and I'm looking around for an academic library, with all this talk about new technologies and about libraries on the cutting edge, what am I going to look for when I come to your website? Oh, they have a blog. Yay. Comments are turned on. Yay. That means they want to talk with their users. Here's Arlington Heights Library interview with the virtual IM librarian. Go where your users are. iTunes. There are libraries with a presence inside of iTunes. ALA is there. Pritzker Military Library. Put the library in places where your users would be surprised to find it, and then market it. There's a librarian in New York State that does a reference shift at the local Panera Bread. He takes his laptop and a stack of library card applications and a little sign that says the librarian is in. And he does it at Panera Bread. That's for all you public library folk. For the academic folk in the room, the laptop librarians at Macon State College Library, they take the show on the road and they go to the dining hall for 90 minutes per week. And the young man that blogged this said, why only 90 minutes per week? But they're positioning the library not behind the doors of the library and up the steps to the desk where we're waiting, but out on the campus at the point of need. Think about where you might position yourself with your laptop and your sign that says, I'm here to help you. Ask me a question. Please disturb me. We should also talk about, I've seen signs that say, please disturb me. Because isn't it easy? You know, you're on the desk and you're like, you know, and people don't want to bother you. So the please disturb me sign's a good one. User-generated content. Denver Public Library is using YouTube and MySpace for a video contest. Make a video about the library and share it on YouTube, and we'll put it on our MySpace page. I used this example at a talk I gave in Western State to a group like this. I didn't know it, but a whole contingent from a library, like back here, they had just voted to block all access to MySpace inside the library. And there's these librarians going like this, holding their head. Here is the search cloud at Ann Arbor District Library. At any one time, I can tell what the users are searching for. This sort of taps into the collective intelligence, what folks are interested in. The Da Vinci Code, Lost, Ice Age, a lot of movies, of course, in the public library realm. And then just to think about content, users are going to define their own channels of content coming in, especially with all these different ways for feeds, etc. We can play a role. Now, one of the most important things I could say for this slide, no matter what type of library you're in, if you're doing any type of planning for new space or new services, it's time to think about creation areas. Areas for young people to create content, or anybody really. A video station, a podcasting studio, anything like that that will give them a space to create something. Because, for example, we may have professors assigning record a podcast for class and put it to the class blog. Wouldn't it be wonderful if the students could come to the library and get assistance and find a really nice room to work? Video, whatever. Recognize trends. Look, this is the trend spotting part. Joan Fry Williams says, here's some ways to see if a trend is a good thing. It's a good sign that it's a good trend. It solves a problem. Your users are asking for it. Your kids, your mom, and your boss are already using it. Finally, it looks like fun. That's the key. Is it fun? Does it look like it's fun? Flickr's fun. Might be something to think about. Here are 6 trends driving the global economy from Wired magazine. I won't go through each of these. I will say people power is that collective intelligence. Unlimited video. Do you believe what we have access to on YouTube now? You know, from pretty kitty runs around the house to news feeds. It's fun. Buy it now, and we're living in an all-access economy. Here's some questions. I'm leaving you all with this PDF file of this keynote presentation. So don't furiously write these down. This is from the magazine Fast Company. Here's what I do in my class, and here's what I'd like you to do in your emerging technology meeting or whatever. I do this in my Intro to Library and Information Science class. We use these questions, and I break the students into groups, and I give them a copy of Wired, or Fast Company, or Business 2.0, or whatever. And they take 20 minutes and they flip through it, and they look for articles and the advertisements, and they identify trends and how those things will impact libraries in the next 10 years. This is something you can do at your next meeting. Seek ideas and innovations from other industries and countries. These are some good questions, and we will have these for you. Here's some trends that I like to talk about when I do the Tech Trends talk. Conversations, convergence, we've hit on a lot of these, and we will hit on more. Let's talk just briefly about LIS Jobs. Who knew that we would have job titles like this in 2007? Who knew when I graduated and got my MLS in 1995 that there would be jobs like this out there? That I would be talking to my students in the classroom saying, oh, you want to be the virtual branch and services manager. Let's talk about what classes you should take and what skills you should have. Here's one of my favorites. The Immersive Learning Library, or Immersive Learning Environments Library. You know what this is? This is the gaming librarian. At McMaster University in Hamilton, Ontario, the university librarian up there said, we need someone who is going to design game interfaces for library resources. Because the gamers are coming to college. The gamers are in college. The gamers are coming to library school. The gamers are getting jobs in libraries right now, too. Read Got Game by Mitchell and Wade. Wonderful job description for Librarian 2.0 in preparation for a 2.0 world from Kingston Frontenac Public Library. Another Canadian example. This young man was in a talk I gave in Toronto this last February. He had just gotten this job fresh out of library school. I met him at a reception. I said, can I put you on the spot? He said, okay. There's like 400 people in the room. I said, he's here. There he is. And librarians are so nice. They applauded for him, and everybody's looking to see who it is. Oh, and I said, did your library school prepare you for this job? He said, no, I'm entirely self-taught. Wow. My work is not yet done. Wayne State University, next-gen librarian, 1, 2, or 3. Meaning, new grad or seasoned professional can come into this job ready to use RSS to disseminate content, use digital tools such as blogs and wikis, do IM reference, record podcasts, etc. Sort of a skill set that's swirling around our profession right now. Let's take it a step further. This is the Darien Library's director's blog. I had this revelation a few months ago. I've been harping on these entry-level jobs with these technology skills, but I realized eventually our governing bodies, the university, the library board, is going to advertise for a director or a dean that can come in the door and use whatever the hottest social tools are. I don't know if it's going to be blogging. I don't know what it's going to be, but they're going to come in the door ready to have an open, human conversation with users. Watch for that. Openness and sharing is one of the other trends I want to pull out. Open communication, open source software, and opening up our data and letting people do things. For example, giving folks a feed of what they currently have checked out so that they could display it on their blogs if they're so inclined. Let's talk a little bit about open source software. Open source software, I don't know if any of you are using it, you might be. I will quote a librarian named Eric Lease Morgan by way of Karen Schneider, because I actually thought she was the one that had said it. Open source software is free as in kittens, not free as in beer. And I should have a slide of it. I should have the pretty kitten slide, and I forgot it. I'm sorry. Have you all seen this LOL cats thing? I has cheeseburger. Is that filtered out? Okay, but it was a thumbs up in the back there. Okay. That's very interesting. But anyway, open source software is free software put out by the developers for other people to use. Now it is free, but you also have to take care of it. But there's a community of folks growing up around some of these tools that if you implemented them in your library, you would have a community of practice that would help you. Okay? But wait a minute. Can't we just build everything ourselves? Isn't that what we've been doing for so long? The vendors say that, oh, we'll build you a real nice ILS. Maybe the coders in IT are like, oh, we'll build that for you. Let us build you a wiki application. Give us a year. No. No. Download WordPress, install it, you have a community of practice there to help you, and you can start blogging immediately. Open source ILS Koha, right? It's coming. I was just in Ohio a couple days ago. Their library's starting to use it. Talked to a man that said we're going live in a couple months, and we have canceled our contract with Cersei Dynamics. Okay? You know the tipping point? I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the libraries to say, yeah, we can do this ourselves. Let's try this. Let's see if we can use this software and not have to give them $100,000 every year. Not just Cersei Dynamics, but all the vendors. Have presence in the lives of your users. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're doing really well. Look at this. I just saw this morning. This is Allen County Public Library. Yay for Indiana libraries. Look at what they put on the front page. ACPL or ACP Lib 2.0. They're using Library Alpha, blog, RSS feeds, Flickr, YouTube. Click there for like an overview of all their social technologies they're using. They've been working at this a while. It's kind of impressive. Again, Flickr. Here's Rock the Shelves, Gwinnett County Public Library. Did you know you could text Google? I could text Google right now and say, what's the weather here in Starkville, Mississippi? And it would probably come back and say, it's hot today. I love it. I love it. It feels good. I actually sat by the pool for 10 minutes last night. It's nice. Okay, you can text Google. Did you know you can text the library? And I know you do because they're in the program, right? Are the folks here?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yay! I feel so, okay, I've talked about you for years. Okay, now you're in the room. Southeastern Louisiana University, tell me how I do with this, gives folks all of these choices to be able to get in contact, including texting the librarian. I can email, I can call, I can chat live. If texting is my choice, I could be anywhere in the university, right? Here's what I would say, without you guys here. I could be draped over a couch in the student union and tap, 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 text the librarian. And you all are talking this afternoon, right? This morning, okay, don't miss them. Don't miss them. Okay. Cuyahoga County Public Library, beautiful website, drill down a little bit. They won an innovation award for their text notifications out of the catalog. I get my library card, and I can decide how I want the library to reach into my world. Email, phone call, SMS text to my telephone, snail mail. Darien Library in Darien, Connecticut embeds a Meebo Me window inside of their Contact Us page. Meebo Me is a little widget that allows you to instant messaging from inside of a web page. I don't even have to click out and go to my IM client. I can IM at the point of need. The library has presence on this page. They are online. What I would like to see is our ILS vendors, our article folks, whoever, EBSCO, all those folks, incorporate this type of a widget into every search result page that students get back. So wherever they are, on campus or off, there's a little box there that says the librarian is right here and waiting to help you. Not across campus and into the library, but here, online, where they might need the help. My clicker fails me about halfway back. Arlington Heights Memorial Library's video blogging, another example of putting the library out into YouTube and via RSS, etc. Okay, the next point is learn and innovate. Training and learning, incredibly important. I know some of you have done library or learning 2.0 initiatives. We'll talk about that, but however you're doing it, training is incredibly important. You can do it in person, offsite, whatever. It must be part of staff development. And this culture of learning, this idea of finding out about new things, must be ingrained in the library's culture, up and down. Okay, if you are an administrator or manager, I don't know who's here. I know you're kind of in charge of things, but I don't know who else is here. Yeah, no, it's not you. But if you don't know, not you, but if you don't know, if you're a manager, digging a hole here. If you are a manager and you don't know how to send an email with an attachment, your staff knows about it. And they talk about it when you're there. So make it part of the culture up and down. A well-trained staff can carry your message to your users. Hi, do you have Wi-Fi in the library? I know you do. I connected to it. But what if that answer is, I don't know? Or what if it's, I don't know? They don't tell me anything here. What does that say about the organizational culture? Training Web 2.0, things to do. Have a sandbox. Give folks a sandbox, a place to play. A server with blog software like WordPress and MediaWiki or whatever, or PBWiki. Give them a place to play. Or give them a room, too, a physical place to play, to come in and try things out. We'll talk about emerging tech and learning 2.0. Why are we doing this? I heard a librarian start IM training with that. She said, why are we doing this? Somebody says, oh, because IM is the hot thing right now. Somebody else says, oh, it's so cool to be doing this. And she says, no. Here's some statistics. Here's how many people are using instant messaging. We want to make sure we have what? Presence with these users as well. Here's one of the best things you can do is train your staff how to use an RSS reader. This is Google Reader, showing the librarian in black blog. I like it. Google Reader would be a choice. Here's NetVibes. I like NetVibes. It helps you build an RSS portal. And this is actually my start page. I can read all of these blogs just by opening my browser. And then here's the ever popular blog lines. This is one of the best things you could do for learning in your library, is to get everyone using RSS to keep current. Learning 2.0, Public Library Charlotte, Mecklenburg County, done by many, many libraries now all over the world, including academic libraries, not that many academic libraries. Learning 2.0 is a self-directed learning course to learn 2.0 technologies for library staff. Helene Blowers dreamed it all up. She went to her director and said, I want to do this. I want the entire staff to have access, and I want to be able to give them something. What do you want to give them? Charles Brown said, the director down there. She said, I want to give them all an inexpensive MP3 player, because they've just subscribed to downloadable audiobooks. He said, sounds good. Now, they have money. Not all of us can do that, right? We can't all dangle an MP3 player in front of our staff. But there are things we can do. You can say, let's do this together, let's learn together, and at the end we will have a special lunch, we'll have a something. Everybody does something together. There are things we can do. There are incentives you could give them. Here's what it looks like. Week 1 introduction, week 2 blogging, everybody gets a blog. And they blog their thoughts about the different modules they go through. They learn about Flickr, they learn about RSS, they have a week of play. I like that. They tag, they get into wikis, they do all these things, and then they get a month of extra exploration time just to mess with stuff, and then it's over. And it is amazing. I get a lot of feeds, and I have search terms I look for, and I get a lot of new brand new blogs under these programs of people just discovering what it's like to go to Flickr or whatever. It's fascinating. Here's an example at Allegheny College, the Learning Web 2.0 by Diving In course. Same idea, they adapted it. The beautiful thing is, Helen put all of this out for free. You all used it, right? For free. It's open. You do not let anybody come to your library and say, for $10,000, we'll do really good training for your library. You can do this yourself. I would like to see a lot of this. I'd like to see large groups of librarians doing this at a national level. ALA, where they were trying. So maybe they'll pull it off. Here's one of the deliverables from the course. Play. It's the Learning 2.0 way. This is a photo uploaded to Flickr, brought into a motivational poster generator. And this is what this young man created. Kind of nice. Dream and innovate. I like the dreaming part. I think we need to dream more in libraries. Think about the emerging technology group. Think about forming that group to meet whatever you think is best. Maybe partner with other departments, but this group will trend spot, will play with the new tools, and will report out. So many times in libraries, there are groups meeting in a room, and you walk by and you're like, what are they doing? They've been in there for 4 hours, what are they doing? And nobody knows. So blog your meeting minutes and blog what you're doing at your meetings, especially for this. And this group can help plan and guide the new services or the changing services that you might be proposing. And here's from McMaster, here's their emerging tech group blog. This is the About page. So many times, we want to innovate, we want to dream in libraries, and some things hold us back. This is from Kathy Sierra, who writes a blog called Creating Passionate Users. The best ideas can get crushed by fear. Okay? For example, let's launch IM reference. I'm fired up after today, after the L2 summit. Yay! Let's have a meeting. Let's convene a committee. The committee starts talking. Oh, well, IM reference. What if we have a lot of people asking us questions? What does that translate to? That's success. It's kind of successful. How will we control the workflow? How will we control the workflow? What if it's overwhelming? Fear, there's your actual product. Do you think that a group of librarians stood around in the very first library that got the very first telephone and said, this is going to ring a lot. I'm not going to be able to talk to my patrons. The library in Alexandria, somebody said, what if we alphabetize the tablets? Do you think the librarian said, well, we've always not had them. And I don't think I can handle that. That's change. Don't let fear get in your way. That's the beautiful thing about Learning 2.0. It gets everybody in the same boat, gets them learning at their own pace, lets them take responsibility for their learning, and then the library can move forward and have good meetings. I spent 15 years in the public library and I went to see bad meetings. Nobody blog that. No blogging about the bad meetings. Okay, how are we doing? Adopted 2.0 philosophy. We're doing great. Throw out the culture of perfect. Okay, nobody blogged this either. I came into the library in 1991 into the culture of perfect, where nothing got done unless it was perfect. And everything moved at the pace of a glacier. I sat in a room across from an administrator, and she said, let's go through this document one more time, word by word, and make sure it's okay. I lost 90 minutes of my life. So we don't, if we're hung up on the culture of perfect and we're worried about proofing, if we're so hung up on that, I understand we got to have a little bit of proofreading. I'm not saying throw everything out, but you can move quicker. Let's get a blog. Yay, we're going to start a new blog at the library. Okay, let's convene the blogging task force. And let's let them meet for a while, and they can come up with some ideas about blogging in libraries. And then we'll form a committee. And let the committee meet for a while and talk about best practices. And then we'll send it to IT and let them work on it. And IT's going to say, don't get mad at me, oh, we'll build you a blog application, just give us 6 months. And then another group is like, well, let's establish our blogging policy, and it goes upstairs, right? I love not knowing who's in the room. If you're upstairs and it's waiting on your desk, come on. Turn on the blog, let the staff play, have 3 meetings, make the decisions, and go. Guess what? The world's not going to wait. The world is not going to wait. In Ohio, I did a shorter version of this talk a couple days ago. A librarian came up to me and she said at the end, this is not a time to be timid, is it? I was blown away. I said, you're absolutely right. It's not. It is not a time to be timid. If we're closing our libraries and we're losing funding and people don't know what online reference resources are, it's not a time to be timid. Learn from the gamers. Culture of perfect translates to a culture of experiment and play. The gamers have found you move through your levels. Oops, made a mistake. You go back a little bit. You go this way. I just got a Wii for my birthday. Who has a Wii? Try the Wii. It's cool. You have a wireless controller, so you bowl like this. It's kind of cool. It's really sharp. The gamers have found that they learn from their mistakes and they go on. We don't talk about our mistakes enough in libraries. We trip off to conferences and listen to people say, how I did it good, and here's how you can do it. Let's talk about all the things that went wrong on the way. Think about the gamers. Okay, this is my favorite part. Discover, play, and experience. These are probably some of the best words we could come up with, we could talk about today. Remember this? The user is not broken. Alphabet soup generator. Who's been to Second Life? Yay, okay, nice. Second, real quick, let's just talk about this as an example of maybe as a place to get some experience. I'll say it up front, I don't know what it means yet, but I see some things happening there. Second Life is an immersive, virtual world. Now there's a program, right? There's a Second Life program this morning. I should look at my...
There are two.
There are two, good, okay. So there, you might be curious about this, so this will be one to take a look at too. The first thing you do in this virtual immersive environment is you get an avatar. An avatar is a graphical representation of your body. Here's mine. Sort of looks like me, but in Second Life you can totally control your body, your everything. So everybody's walking around real muscular, and wearing tight jeans because we can. So there are people building a library presence in Second Life. Actually, some vendors have given some money, and we bought an island. Okay, if somebody turns to you and says, let's buy an island in Second Life, what that means, let's buy a server in Second Life so we can have some space, some land to build something. This is the Cybrary. It's a 10-story building that has rooms in it that libraries can have for a virtual presence. I was given an office in this building. What's the first thing you do when you're given an office in a new building?
Decorate.
You decorate. You go to the Second Life furniture store. I like Mission Furniture. Somebody said this last night. I want to see what your office looks like, see what kind of furniture you like. I like Mission Furniture. I found a store that sells this in Second Life. And you get a free account with Second Life. They give you like $500. Linden dollars. Linden Labs runs the show. So I could buy a couch and a chair and invite one of my colleagues over, David King, to sit in my chairs with me in my office. What does this mean? I don't know. but, yay for the librarians having presence there. And yay for the libraries that are saying, let's try this. And here's my favorite, most practical example. If you are poised on a new building project or renovation, talk to your architects and say, could we build our building in Second Life first? And give our staff and our users a chance to walk through it and check it out. And have that little reception. We talked about this at dinner last night. What is a reception in Second Life but a bunch of people in their rooms looking at their computer, but they're meeting online? These avatars come together, try it. Tour the library that way. A colleague of mine in the UK actually IM'd me one night and said, I'm watching the sun go down from the roof of the Cybrary, join me. I teleported in and we were able to sit there and watch the sun go down. See the stars are coming out? Did you know you can fly in Second Life? And then we were able to School Library Journal, January issue, put Second Life on the cover, talking about teen Second Life. This is for teens. There's a library presence growing there too, and it's wonderful. Teen Second Life is totally controlled. There are no creeps in Teen Second Life because if you're an adult, you have to go through a background check to get in. Yeah, I know, it's totally safe. So Brian Kinney writes an editorial in this issue and says, who knew when we were in library school and we learned about keeping current, that in 2007, keeping current would mean coming to things like this and playing with the new tools, and it would also mean building an avatar in Second Life and checking it out. Who knew? He said, who knew that you might be flying off to your author visit in Second Life someday as a school librarian? Who's done the DDR? A few folks. Dance Dance Revolution. There are Dance Dance Revolution tournaments in libraries. Something else to think about. I haven't done this yet. Someday. So again, Learning 2.0, this whole idea of self-directed experience, play, remember this? Absolutely. What did I do here? I'm like repeating slides. Here we go, sorry. There we go. Web 2.0 is open, decentralized, and participatory. We sort of started with that idea. Open libraries then. Use data and tools in new ways. Involve the users in planning. Communication flows up and down and you have some darn good meetings. And that sense of control fades. That it's like we're all in this together. It's not no this, no that, violators are thrown out. Control fades. Think about things where you've heard, oh, we can't do anything about that because blank won't let us. Are you a roadblock? And don't raise your hand. Are you a roadblock in the library? I thought you raised your hand. People come up to me and they whisper in my ear at meetings like this, well, we want to do all this, but it has to be a list. Or everything stops with them. Again, Learning 2.0 levels that playing field. Participate. If you're sitting there and you thought, oh my goodness, am I a roadblock? Am I maybe not, I don't feel as comfortable with these things as I should? Absolutely a great reason to jump in and do some experimentation. Okay, a couple more points here. Create a culture of trust. I said something early on. I said that we had 30 librarians blogging at SJCPL. Type, publish to the web. That's a different model, isn't it, than maybe some of us are used to, or that used to be. Best iced tea ever. That used to be where I might write content for the web, and it would go through 3 or 4 people to get to where it's going. And somebody might even have to sign off. What is the missing ingredient in all of this is trust. Trusting the staff and trusting the users. Darlene Fisher defined Library 2.0 as books and stuff plus people plus radical trust times participation. Radical trust is that idea is we are all on the same page. We are here for the mission and the vision of the library. We understand it. We are going to blog accordingly. We're going to build our wiki accordingly. We're going to put pictures on Flickr accordingly. And we trust each other to do the right thing. All right, to find out more, there's some things you can do. Squidoo.com is another Web 2.0 site. Library 2.0 reading list. Jenny Levine and I put this together. Great background on Library 2.0. Also, the Library 2.0 Ning network. Ning is a do-it-yourself social network. Okay? IT says, oh, you want social networking, we'll build one for you. Wait, no, Ning will do it for you in 5 minutes. So Ning, if you want your own, I almost went down right here. Whoa. That would cap the day when I was laying up here. Library 2.0 Ning network, you could turn on your own social network like that. What I did for us today, if anybody is inclined, I put together a group under the Library 2.0 Ning network, and this was easy. I did this, I'm laying in bed at the Comfort Suites this morning, and I did this, it was that easy. And I said, please share your aha moments here. From the conference, no typos. So if you're wireless, if you have your laptop with you, or you run off to a terminal today, or afterward, please share some things, and I'll be checking in. So, there's some nice online resources. Also, I want to leave you with 5 things you can do right now. Well, not right now, but when you leave and go back to your libraries. Number 1, be a trend spotter. Take a look at those trend spotting questions. Think about what the next thing is going to be. Listen to your users. What are they asking for? Are they asking for games? Are they asking for access to Facebook in the library? Are they asking for whatever? Are they asking for articles or books or whatever delivered to them? Be a trend spotter. Form an emerging technology committee. Have good meetings and blog about it. Do some immersion. Try these things out. Try Learning 2.0. Play. Self-directed learning. If you have not started blogging, create a What's New blog. It's the best thing. When people say, what do I start with? The best thing you could start with is a blog. Now, I will say this. I am certainly not advocating for every single person in this room to run off like Amanda did and turn everything on the next day. That's fine. No, you don't have to do that. And I'm not advocating for you to go back and think you have to do every single thing in your library. Pick one. Pick one or two. Personally, I would say start with a blog. If you haven't started blogging already, it's the easiest way to get dynamic content to your website. And you automatically get an RSS feed that you can put in other places. So I can say to the university webmaster, hey, could you put the library blog feed on the front page of the university website or somewhere, or feed it into the news? That puts the library out there as well. Do not feel you have to do all of these things at once. Find the ones that work for your mission, your vision, your staff, and, of course, your users. Explore presence. Look for ways to put the library out where the users are. In places where they might say, oh, the library's here. I need some help. I need some information. Okay? We've covered a lot of ground. Wow. So let me wrap up. In a nutshell. 3 things. After the 5 things list, here's 3 things. Here's what I want you to do. Learn to learn, adapt to change, and scan the horizon. This is what the Hyperlinked Library does. This is what the Transparent Library does. Think about those things. Here's my contact information. And we have like a couple minutes for thoughts. Right? How are you doing? You guys okay? Questions or thoughts, and I'm going to take a big drink of my tea while you all think for a minute. You guys okay? Okay, so here's what I think. We've laid I've showed you so much stuff. If you're curious about Second Life, if you're curious about texting, if you're curious about all of these things, pick and choose over the rest of the day the things you want to visit, the folks you want to talk with, the folks you want to hear, and then at the end of the day, think about the thing that really, really strikes you and go forth with that one. And think about how you might turn your library into a more hyperlinked organization. And I think I'll be quiet. Thank you.
Again, the password, if you're going on, is eagerly. The Library 2.0 Ning, all of the things that we've heard about today, the videos, the alphabet soup, all of that stuff. We're going to blog about it. You can go there and find out all of those URLs if you're very interested in making an alphabet soup sign for your library. That could be fun. We're really interested in hearing about what you have to say, and we're hoping that we're going to be creating community around this. And of course, tonight, I don't know if you saw that, but we are having this evening from 5 to 7:30, we're all going to get together at a restaurant downtown and we can continue this conversation. I know that this is sort of a lot to process, but hopefully you'll have questions and things to think about. Just some practical things right at first. This isn't really at first, but